Okay, let's try to make sense of something that's got a lot of people scratching their heads. The U.S. housing market. It is sending some seriously mixed signals right now. The data seems to be pointing in completely different directions, and it can make your head spin. So let's unpack what's really going on.
Here it is, the big question at the center of it all. How is it possible that buying a home is getting more expensive while at the same time fewer people are actually doing it? It doesn't quite add up, right? Let's dig in.
All right, first up, let's just get into how weird this market is right now. We're going to look at some conflicting data that really shows this huge gap between what buyers want to do and what they can actually afford to do.
So check this out. This slide basically shows you the puzzle in a nutshell. On one side of the coin, people are definitely looking. Google searches for homes for sale are up a whopping 20% from last year. The interest is there. But then you look at what people are actually doing, and pending home sales are down 1.2%. So what is going on in that gap between looking and buying?
Well, to start solving this puzzle, you gotta follow the money. And right now, the money is telling us one thing loud and clear. The sheer cost of buying a house is what's putting the squeeze on just about everyone.
The first major hurdle is this number right here. The average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage just hit 6.38%. That's a 6-month high. A lot of this is tied back to the Federal Reserve's big fight against inflation, which, pushes up the cost of borrowing money. A jump like this has a massive, and I mean massive, impact on how much house you can actually afford.
And what does that higher rate mean for your wallet every month? Well, it means this. The median monthly mortgage payment is now over $2,700. That is the first time we've seen a year-over-year increase in that monthly cost since way back in October.
And it's not just one thing, it's a double whammy for buyers. Because it's not just that borrowing is more expensive, the actual price tags on the homes themselves are climbing too. The median sale price is now nearly $392,000, which is the biggest jump in price we've seen in a full year. Buyers are just getting hit from both sides.
So when you see costs go up this fast, what happens next? It's pretty predictable, really. Demand just hits a wall. And we are seeing clear signs in the data that buyers are either priced out or just saying, you know what, I'm not playing this game right now.
And the evidence for this cool down is everywhere you look. For starters, mortgage applications dropped 3% in just 1 week. Then you see that homes are sitting on the market for an average of 5 days longer than they did a year ago. And get this, fewer homes are sparking those crazy bidding wars. Only about 23% are selling above asking price, and that's down from 25% last year. These are all signals that things are cooling off.
But if you need one number to really drive this whole situation home, it's this one. Right now, there are 630,000 more sellers than buyers out there. We haven't seen a gap that wide in over a decade. It's a pretty dramatic shift.
So what do the experts call this? They call it a balanced market. This just means there's about 4 to 6 months worth of houses for sale. We're sitting at 4.5 months right now. The big takeaway here is that the crazy advantage sellers have had for the past few years, that's starting to fade.
Okay, but, and this is a huge but, probably the most important part of this whole thing. We can't just talk about a national market like it's one single thing. It's just not. Real estate is super local, and honestly, the national headlines can be incredibly misleading.
Just look at this table. It's wild. It's like a tale of two different countries. You've got these hot markets like San Francisco, where sales are up 25%, or West Palm Beach, up nearly 23%. But then you hop over to New Brunswick, New Jersey, and sales have cratered by almost 16%. It's not one housing market, it's dozens of little micro markets, all doing their own thing. And then you've got these real head-scratchers, like Austin, Texas. Pending sales are actually up by a healthy 10%, which sounds great, right? But at the exact same time, prices are down 2%. This just shows you how complex things can get on the ground. More people are buying, but it seems like they're driving a harder bargain and are just not willing to pay those peak prices from a year ago.
Okay, so after all that data, what does this all mean if you're actually thinking about selling your home? What do you do with this information? Well, let's get into the new rules of the game for sellers.
We've got some great, practical advice here from a Redfin Premier agent, Hazel Shakur. And her point is simple, but it is absolutely crucial in this market. First impressions are everything. With more choices and less pressure, buyers don't have to overlook a bunch of imperfections anymore. The house really has to sell itself the second they walk through the door. So let's boil that down into a quick checklist. Step 1, that flawless first impression isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's a must. And step 2, and this is a big one, fix the little things before you list.
The agent specifically said that buyers are now totally willing to walk away from a deal if an inspection turns up a bunch of problems. The power has definitely shifted.
So after looking at all of this, what's the big takeaway? It's this. The crazy, red-hot seller's market we've been talking about for years, it's over. We're in a more balanced market now. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's an easy market. It's actually pretty difficult for just about everyone involved.
And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. When we see some cities booming while others are cooling off so fast, does it even make sense to talk about a national housing trend anymore? It really seems like the most important trend right now is whatever is happening on your street in your neighborhood. All real estate truly is local.